Hello, and welcome to How to Helen, where you learn something different every day. On this episode, we will be bleeding the brakes on this 2002 Toyota MR2. If you watched my previous video, or if not, just to recap, I recently replaced the ABS pump brake lines on this car. Because of this, we introduced some air in the system that we will need to take out. Otherwise, the brakes will feel spongy when you apply them. Now what I'm going to do is take off the rear driver tire and show you how to bleed the brakes. Always make sure you use jack stands when working under the car. Your life is more precious than the car. Here is the bleeder screw for the rear brakes. Now let's soak it with WD-40 or penetrating oil first before we take it off. Penetrating oil will help loosen the bleeder screw from its current stuck position. Now while we are waiting for the bleeder screw to soak with penetrating oil, let's drop some bleeder screw engineering knowledge. Generally, there are two main types of bleeder screws. The first one is a non-directional screw that is installed on this Toyota MR2. This bleeder screw allows fluid to flow in both directions, going inwards and outwards. This other type of bleeder screw is a directional bleeder screw. Using pressure, this screw will allow fluid to flow in this direction. The metal ball inside will compress the internal spring to open the valve and let fluid flow. Now, if fluid or air tries to move in the other direction, the spring and metal ball inside the valve will switch into the lock position, preventing fluid or air from coming into the system. This is the common problem mechanics or amateur DIYers have an issue with. For some reason, they always assume that this is a directional bleeder screw and immediately open the bleeder screw. If you do that, you are allowing air in the system. That is why professional mechanics know that you need to pump the brakes first to create pressure before opening the valve so that the fluid's direction is going outwards, thus forcing any air in the system to come out. Be very particular on this step of the process. Insert the 8mm socket in the bleeder before putting the hose, because once you put the hose to drain the fluid and air, you won't be able to put the socket wrench anymore. At the other end, make sure you have a container to catch all the fluid and air that's gonna come out so that we don't pollute the environment. So Helen's awake, so we can start bleeding the system. She will do a pump and hold on the brakes, and I will release the bleeder screw so that the fluid with air will come out to get the air out of the system. Alright, so again, remember, don't open it without pumping the brakes because it will introduce air in the system. So it has to be compressed so there's pressure moving the fluid outward. Are you ready, Helen?
Ready.
Alright. Hold on. Let me just adjust this. Okay, pump. Hold. You holding?
Yes.
Close. Pump.
Oh.
Close. Pump.
Oh.
Remember, she has to hold the brakes so that there's pressure forcing the fluids out along with the air. Okay, pump.
Hold.
As you can see, there's air that's in the system. Now we're trying to get all of that out. Right, pump.
Hold.
Okay, pump.
Hold.
Pump.
Hold.
Pump.
Hold.
Pump.
Hold.
Pump.
Hold.
Now we're gonna check the brake fluid reservoir just to make sure that there's still fluid in it. So as expected, the brake fluid in the reservoir went down. Now we're just gonna add a little so that we can continue bleeding the system. Now that we have filled up the brake fluid reservoir, we're gonna continue bleeding the brakes just to make sure that there's no more air in the system. Pump. 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 All right, last one. Pump. All right, we're gonna check. Went down a little bit again, but we didn't see any more air bubbles. So that means that we were able to bleed the brake system properly. And that is how you bleed the brake system of a 2002 Toyota MR2. Remember, you have to figure out what your bleeder screw is. Is it a non-directional bleeder screw or a directional bleeder screw? So you don't open it and introduce air instead of pushing it all out. So that has been another episode of How to Helen. My name's Arja, and thank you for watching.